Okay, so we're back here with another day of development stuff. Now we're going to continue working on client commission projects here as I kind of want to get a couple pieces of content done by Sunday for the client, and then we'll get straight back into working on ICBM here. So we left off, we were working on the power generator and stuff. Between the video we were working on that and currently I did start to work on bucket filling code. I probably should have recorded this, but I had some free time, so I went ahead and started on it. Now the code is straightforward, it may not look like it, but we're getting the input slot, which is our bucket stack, making sure it's not null. If it's an instance of iFluid container, we're going to handle it. Right now I haven't finished handling for it. If it's an instance of a filled container, say like a lava bucket or something, we then go ahead and handle it here. We get the fluid stack from it, ensure the fluid stack is valid for our stuff. We then get the amount of room left in our tank. We ensure we can take the whole bucket, because if we take a partial of the bucket, we're basically deleting fluid, and we can't do that. With the iFluid container, we can pull that off because the fluid container will have a volumetric system for it, but with a container system, it's either all or none. So we'll go ahead and we can go through that, and we can deal with all that stuff. So we get the container, we get the output slot, we ensure that we can stick the container into the output slot. We then, if we can, we decrease stack size, we do this, and then we eat the bucket and stuff. One thing we have forgot to do is get the tank real quick. And then fill it with the resource. We completely neglected to check that part. Yeah, let's make sure we do this real quick and we do this properly. So we want to do fluid or iFluid tank equals this. If tank doesn't equal null, in case for some reason our tank goes null at some point in time, we then want to go tank.fill, and we're going to go and not I won't put this up here actually, and we want to make sure this is actually false. And we're going to go, this is greater than or equal to fluid stack amount. And then if that is all good, then we just put this down here. We do it for true. So what we're doing with the false is we're making sure that we can actually do it. So it goes, okay, do fill. We don't want to actually fill the object. We just want to test to make sure that we can fill the object. So here we want to go, okay, get tank, ensure tank is not null, and we'll accept the fluid. It should, so this should always return true. And then fill tank, decrease our inputs, we eat one of the buckets, and then we throw the empty bucket out to the output slot. And this should work. This should actually handle properly. We should get a tank fill up. We still got to do like an animation for that. We probably won't do that today or tomorrow. That'll be just down the road somewhere. We'll just maybe print on the screen or something. Well, to be honest, we gotta sync that if we want to do that. This should already be a packet handling thing, so all you have to do is like go get description packet, or get, or read, yeah, read description packet. So you just want to copy these two methods. These are already handled for us because it's handled by the get description packet system, which we already have a read packet system. Because I went ahead and I made sure that all of our tiles are automatically packet handlers in the new system, because we're going to be pretty much putting packet handling on almost everything. And if you don't put packet handling on something, there's no loss. You don't lose anything by just having an empty packet handler on there. It doesn't slow the game down, doesn't do anything to it. Anyways, what we'll do is we'll go ahead and set this up to synchronize our tank. Okay. So what we want to do, I don't know if I got a helper for this. I'm pretty sure I do. Let's go find our byte buff wrapper. Yeah, it's got one right here. So it's got buff.read tank. And our tank should be a fluid tank, right? It is, cool. So what we want to do is just go tank.read tank buff. And then we want to go tank.write well, not write MBT. You know what? I suspect that the byte buff wrapper actually just writes to MBT. Because it goes buff.read tank, and that's an encapsulated method. Yeah, it goes new tank, read int, and then read tag. We don't need to be worried about read int, but we can go ahead and do a tag system. So MBT tag compound tag equals MBT, or not MBT, byte. I'm gonna make a few mistakes here. I'm a little groggy this morning. I don't want byte buff wrapper, I want byte buff utils. Read tag. Yeah, the amount of sleep I got last night was absolutely horrible. So unfortunately, that also means my brain doesn't want to work right now. For this one, we just want to make a new tag. So new tag, MBT tag. Then we're going to go tank.write to MBT tag. And then byte buff utils dot write tag to buffer. So debuff and then tag. That'll work. The only thing we need to worry about is if the tank volume changes between server and client, which should not happen. Although it could. Public static int buckets or tank volume by buckets equals 10. We're going to let the client configure this. We'll just have to tell him make sure your stuff is synchronized or stuff's not going to work properly. And my phone pinged again. No, it's just Twitter. My audio notifications changed on my phone after the last update, so now I'm confused on like what is what now. So now Twitter's got a different audio effect on it, and it almost all sounds like the same notification effect now. It sounds like each application doesn't seem to have a unique one anymore. I wonder what caused that. Anyways, we got a read write description packet, so this means we can now do display stuff. So in our GUI here, what we'll go ahead and do is we'll just draw a string saying how much volume we have. So we'll go string volume equals if generator dot tank or get tank can I just access the tank directly? Probably not, because I didn't set it up that way. Yeah, it's protected. And unfortunately we're in a sub package, so we can't get access to it. So we could just do this real quick and fix that. So we go tank. Tank should never equal null. It's pretty much a final object. We'll just go ahead and do final, so you can never set it null. Tank.get fluid doesn't equal null, and then we'll go. Actually, I think we just go tank.get amount. Yeah, that's actually a thing. And we just do something like that, and it'd be tank dot and get capacity. That'll give us a display string we can use. We'll do the localization later. Right now we're just going to do this. So go tank, and we'll go volume, and then we'll need another string called fluid. So string fluid. So go generator dot tank dot get fluid doesn't equal null. Then it'd be generator dot tank dot get fluid dot get fluid or get localized name. Apparently that's a thing. And we'll just append fluid at the end of that. That way we got some kind of display working on it for us, and that's the inventory name. So we're gonna want to put this. Change the Y. I want to say like 100 would be good, and then we'll do like 50. We'll move it around once we get the game loaded up. And this should work. So we're just going to go ahead and load up and just start testing. I think half the reason I slept horribly though is I drank a little too much soda before I went to sleep. I mean, it's one of those things like you learn that you're not supposed to drink this stuff before you go to sleep, and yet you do it anyways. Oh, that's right. I need to set this up to actually run debug like client. Oh, come on. IntelliJ's being weird today. Probably should have restarted my computer before I started these recordings. So I got, I don't know how many of these I'm going to make today. Now the plan is to get this generator completely done, and then pick one more item the client wants done and then start up on it. And then to get back and doing ICBM, and then we're going to do some more ICBM stuff tomorrow, and then like the entire week's going to be nothing but ICBM coming up. So it's going to be trying to get that knocked out because, as I've noted in several of my videos, here when it hits the 15th, I'm back in class, and I don't know what my schedule is going to be like again. So this whole entire week here, I'm planning on just working on nothing but ICBM and getting it knocked out to that 1.8 update. Because if I get the 1.8 update rolling out, the 1.9 and so on shouldn't take me much longer. It's just all I have to do is update Volt's engine, and then the plan is hopefully I won't have to update ICBM again for a Minecraft version. It'll just be adding content again and again and again as I go, which would be beautiful when you think about it. But we'll see how we go. If it hits like a couple days in and I don't look like I'm going to make the progress, I'm just going to flat out start on the 1.8 update and ignore trying to make it seamless where it no longer needs Minecraft code. Because then what I can do is I can roll back whatever changes I make and then work on making it seamless again. And then just kind of focus on that throughout the month. So I shouldn't have too much work. I only got like one 500 level class. It's actually like a 400 level, but when you sit there and look at the number, it's almost 500. And I've been told it's a really hard class. Plus I got a couple IT security classes, so I don't know how that's going to work. Right now it's only 3 classes, with one of them being like a Practium, so it's literally like, here, you got a project you got to do the entire semester. It's like, oh, cool. I'll finish it on like day 1. The problem is I do have to work with a group, so it's going to be like, hey, you got to do all this stuff. Hopefully my team doesn't decide to lay a whole bunch of work on me once they figure out what I can do. This has happened to me before where they go, oh, you're a professional. That means you can do all the work without any problem. It's like, yes, I can, but that completely defeats your guys' learning experience. Although then they pull out the thing like, well, if you don't do the work, then you aren't going to get a good grade either. It's like, well, yeah. Extortion is totally a thing in college. I hope it doesn't turn out that way. I really do, because I hope it actually becomes a team effort, and that each person actually does a decent amount of work. Because I get really tired of that, where I'm doing the majority of the work. Because that's what I do on my day-to-day basis. So I'm the person that does most of the work on most of the mods. Occasionally, I get some really cool help from people. I really appreciate it when I do get help. Okay, so there's our volume system, which is a little too low. Change this to like 80. Wow. Oh, I see why that's so low, because that number is low and we were using that one. Okay, that's good. Now we just need to pop it so it's like over here, because we're going to leave that string in there. That string isn't going to go anywhere. Because even if we have a tank volume, it's really nice to have a number that somebody could read. It will also help debug that, like if you have like 1 millibucket in there, which shouldn't be a thing because the tank will, or the generator will try to consume all fuel even if it can't run on that next tick. Okay. Do like a 10. A little too high. There we go. So there it goes. It shows we have can put 10 buckets worth of fluid in here. Right now we're set up for lava, so we should consume lava. Should consume lava. In fact, I'm not even getting that tick on debug. Oh, that's right, we're not getting that tick on debug. I was on pause screen. Okay, so we get our input item, or not get our input item. Okay. We screwed something up here. We definitely have something in there. Let me go to the container real quick. Input slot, output slot. Input slot. Odd that would return null. So input slot is slot 0. Container, fuel bucket slot, input slot, output slot. Those look good. I'm not seeing any weirdness with that. So what's going on here? Yeah, it goes null. What is going on here? Size 0, so it doesn't even act like it has an item. Yeah, we clearly have an item in that slot. Hmm, odd. You know why we're not getting an item in that slot? We got like multiple generators all ticking at the same time. That's what's going on. Okay, here we go. We got an item bucket. It is a filled container. We're getting lava back. Cool. We got 10k room left. So if room is greater than amount, cool, we got that one. We got an empty bucket container back. Our output slot is null. Cool. Our tank is null. Why is our tank null? Ah, supported fluids. We're gonna get rid of that supported fluid tab in like a second here. So this is equal null, and then fluid dot get fluid, or fluid equals survival mod dot fuel. Reload that real quick. That should work now. So we should go all the way down here, get our tank. We got our tank now. Tank filled, empty, output slot. Good to go. Empty bucket. And unfortunately it doesn't show fuel up here because we didn't update the description packet. I'm gonna quickly cough off camera there. Let's see. Yeah, I mean it's working. We need to do like send description packet right there. Same here. Send description packet. Yeah, actually at this point we might as well be sending a description. Well, actually, you know what? This needs to be. You know what? We don't actually need a description packet for like any of this. So we want to go to do send GUI packet. Actually, let's not do that there. We'll go all the way to the bottom. Put it there. The reason we're going to stick it there is we only want to be updating the GUI because that's the only thing that actually changes. So if we actually go look at the generator, there's no animation. I could have made like these animated where this turns like bright green when it's on and this turns bright red when it's off. But we don't have any movement over here of animation. It's pretty much a static model. Honestly, I could probably even write a program for this that would actually render this as a static model, but it would be a pain in the rear to get to work. Because you would have to fake out corners like this and make them believe they're rectangles. Which wouldn't be impossible, it'd just be annoying. But, yeah. Let's keep working on this, I guess. So we know it consumes container stuff. I guess we could just do a description packet system real quick. We'll have to restart this real quick to do that, because I need to do, like, iPlayer using. Implement methods, get players. The iPlayer using thing, by the way, you just literally got to store a list of people that are using the GUI. and we want to store that pretty much right here. So private list community player players new array list. I might make a list here later that is designed specifically for players, because there's a lot of cool things you can do. Like get you could start calling like get closest player off the list, and it would just there'd be a method in there. A lot of really interesting things. That should give us the players using now. And then I believe we do have a send GUI packet. Send packet to GUI users. And this would of course go, okay, if you're iPlayer using it, it will then grab all the players and then it'll dump the packet to the players. Because that's the only reason you're storing the players, is so you know what players to send the packet to. And then we're going to want to go get host, get packet for data. We're going to want to make our packet ID like 3 or something. And then we just want to, we don't want to encode the tank per se. No, we don't even want to do that. We're just going to pop a description packet. I mean, our description packet pretty much is what we have already. And we're just going to do that. So we're going to sync data to GUI users. And then we also want to go with ticks %3 equals 0. That's the 3 is pretty much the magic number on how quickly a person can notice a change in the GUI. So you don't want to be sending a packet every single tick, because that's just a waste of data. Because if it takes a user 3 ticks or more to comprehend that there was a change in the first place, then you don't want to be sending one every single tick. Unless your data literally changes every single tick, which then would be, might want to do client-side prediction on that one. So that'll work. That'll update our client here. We're going to have to come up with some way to test this. I do have a fuel tank item we could use, but I don't have a way to fill it up, I don't think. Let's hit File, Project Structure. Let's just go ahead and add my fuel tank item. And yeah, we want to go down here. I believe it is this one we want to add it to. And then it's one of the SMB mods. SMB, well, we'll add wooden buckets. Wooden buckets is also another one we could test. But we want, one of these is called like fuel tank or fuel can. My brain's just not wanting to synchronize. I think it's already, yeah, right there, it's gas can, it's already in there. We add wooden buckets though, because wooden buckets is pretty much, they and gas can share the same code, so they'll be great to test both. If the gas can doesn't contain right-click code to fill up, the wooden bucket does. And then, you know what the next thing we're going to make after this? We're going to go ahead and make the oil and gas mod. The client, I believe, wanted oil shale blocks that then you toss into a furnace to get oil out of. I think you're going to have to do that through his forge, though, so I have to go make his forge here later. But we'll go ahead and make the shale block, and the shale block will just turn into like a glump of oil, and then all you have to do is just combine the glump of oil with like a fuel can and something else, and it'll turn into fuel. I'll talk to him over that, because that's going to be something he'll have to do, or more or less tell me how he wants it done. He's got a list of crafting recipes. I got to implement that down the road, which I might just take some time and implement those here when I'm not doing anything. Of course, I probably won't record my process doing that, because that's just going to be open up JSON file, new recipe, and then rinse and repeat. I also got to make him armor. He wants some armor, RPG system, destructive blocks. I mean, he's got a lot of cool little content. I hope the best for him on his mod pack. Because he's got, I think what he's trying to do is make something between Ark Survival and Rust, except without the dinosaurs, of course. I don't know, he might have dinosaurs in there, I don't know. I don't know what he's doing, but he's got some kind of survival mod pack he's trying to make, and it looks like it'll be good if he just continues to work on it and develop it out. He's got a map for it already. He already knows what he's going to do for wars. He's one of the few mod pack developers I've seen that actually knows where they're going with their packs. Most mod pack developers that come to me and go, hey, I want to work on this mod pack, and I want to use ICBM, and I'll go like, okay, what do you want to do with ICBM? We just kind of want it for the destructive capability, but how do you perceive the user using that? Do you just want to see him use that as just blowing each other up, or do you actually know what the user's going to do? What is his objective? How he's going to play through the pack? I'm like, nobody can answer that. When I find a mod pack developer is capable of answering that, I see them going pretty far with their mod packs. That's the reason the FTB team has done pretty well, is they kind of know where their mod packs are going. They have predicted somewhat how they're going to be played. Theirs, of course, are a little bit more open world than most the ones I like to see. But there are some pretty amazing mod packs out there that sat there and actually asked the question of like, what is the player going to do? And those are the ones you see that are just consistent. The packs that I don't see are consistent are kitchen soup ones. Those are the ones I usually deny mod pack permissions for. Not that we ask for mod pack permissions anymore, but when we did, we denied kitchen soup ones because we felt that when you were making a mod pack and you're just tossing mods in there, you're actually hurting the user, not helping them by throwing too many mods in there. It may be cool and stuff, but yeah. Our tank doesn't save right now. We'll have to fix that. Okay, you can't stack buckets. Okay, that should have updated. I'm not getting that. Oh, because I'm inside the is powered check. Okay, that's the reason why I'm not getting an update. Derp. Still not getting a screen change on that. It is running though. If we take a look at this, let's see if our tank has stuff in it. Capacity tile equals. It keeps track of a tile. Unusual. Okay. Fluid delegate. That's part of that whole tracking of what your fluid ID is. Density. Okay, that's the actual fluid, I think, because we're seeing these gaseous and stuff. Amount is 2 buckets worth, so it is there. So I should have got a packet on that, and I should have seen this update, but it's not. So, let's take a look at our read and write description packet. Okay, so write description packet, we write tag, send it to there, read tag. So let's see if we're actually getting a read call on this. We're not getting a read call. We're getting a write call, I know that one for sure. So hit play. We are getting these errors in chat, which is telling me that something's wrong. Could be a rounding problem in the packet send code. Okay, so we want to go ahead and take a look at our get description packet. Our get description packet is get packet for description packet ID, of course, and then we write to data to it. Which then we get host, get packet for data. Our host is going to be the tile entity wrapper, which is going to be in the core. This is where I really need to spend some time JUnit testing, because I think we've had a couple issues with this before, where things have not gone as planned. And they just come down to the fact that a lot of the code has not been tested well. Because we do have a packet handling system in here. Because here's our read packet system. And we go, okay, if it instances of iPacket ID receiver. And then we call read. Get description packet, okay. If can handle packet, we return get description packet from the system. Which is then going to call get packet for this. This is, of course, going to use our X, Y, and Z coordinates. We have no rounding problems here, because we're going to be getting our exact coordinates. Okay. Let's go ahead and put a system here. We're not getting anything here. Let's try here. Not getting anything there either. Okay, we're definitely not going to get anything there. Huh. Something wrong with the packet system, I guess. Alright, if we place one, I should see a packet. Yep, there we go. We get a packet coming through. It is being read. It is a description packet. We are on the client. We read the description packet, we go through. Cool, that's all working. So we know it's running, at least when we actually trigger it by force. So we know this system is functional, but maybe our send code is not working? Could be various reasons why this could be failing. Let's close a few of these though. So we are calling send to GUI users. This is what we're going to probably want to check here, is seeing if this runs properly. So we should be an instance of iPlayer using, except we don't have anybody using the GUI. That's our problem. We're not getting event calls. Okay, so something's not working here. So how this is supposed to work is on the server, when you open it, if it's inventory, oh, because we're not passing inventory in. That's our problem. Okay, I can fix this. Close this real quick. Okay, so we're having a problem with the fact that we are a node, and that we're having issues grabbing our actual instance object. There's a couple solutions we could do with this. I'm going to go with the one I want to use here. Whatever, end it with 4 spaces. And what we want to go with is tile node. And we want to call player, and we go node dot get inventory, I guess. What is the super on this one? What is it supposed to? Oh, this dot. Okay, we don't actually need this then. So what we want to do is we're going to go player this dot player. We don't store the player. I guess not. So if node is instance of inventory, then we want to, of course, set our inventory to node. And then what we're going to go is else if node is instance of tile inventory, or external inventory is actually what it's called. It used to be called tile inventory at one point in time. I don't want get inventory name, I just want get inventory. They're going to be difficult. This is actually inventory provider. There we go. And we go else if node.getHost is instance of inventory. Then we do it that way. We're not going to do the external inventory for the host, because the host should always be inventory if it's external. That'll fix our inventory here. So that way we make sure we have our inventory. And then what we want to do is we want to go, okay, if node is instance of this, and then, yeah, that's how we'll handle it. I think what I might end up doing is I might end up migrating the iPlayer using to the host and let the host deal with it, because of the fact it would be a little tedious to track that per tile we want to do a GUI system on, and at least half of our tiles are going to have GUIs on them at some point. So we may migrate this over. But right now this would fix the system. And then what we want to do is we want to cache our host at some point. So here's our inventory. What we also want to do is protected. Do we want to actually do the player? Because I think there's only one container per player, so I think we can do entity player. And this would be this dot player equals player. And then we want protected object host, I guess. No, let's not do it that way. Let's do it this way. And we'll put H here. And then we'll put, yeah, we'll do it that way. And we'll just do H here real quick. And what we'll do is we'll go, okay, if node is instance of tile node, and that way we can recycle this method. We actually get rid of this thing right here, sorta. Actually, no, we're going to deprecate this. Deprecate. Because what we're going to end up doing is we're going to end up forcing this to become the standard, because then you can tell it exactly what you're using for your host, and then you've got your host right here. So that is really, really useful. And then when we come up here to our container, and we just pass our generator in, and now we have access to our generator in case we ever need it inside the container class. And that fixes our player using it. Should actually know what we got one more thing to do. Had a cough off microphone there again. Hopefully I'm not catching it cold. It's been this whatever I've got's been beating on me for like months now. And it'll go and it'll get worse and worse, and then it'll just come back all of a sudden. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to check to see if our host is an instance of iPlayer using, and then we want to cast our host. Cool. And I actually do need to go to iPlayer using, and I need to do like an add and remove call. I will just go ahead and do this. So go default, boolean, add player, entity player, player, and we'll go default, boolean, remove player, entity player, player. This would be get players using dot remove player. That way we can also just switch this to and we'll go add player to add player to use list, because technically this system is actually not designed for GUIs, but we'll note that. Use to track players currently using an object primarily used for GUI handling. Okay. That'll clean that up a little bit. I need to make sure that I sync that real quick. I actually have been neglecting some, like, D-months, like, I haven't been doing work in, like, six days. I'm like, I clearly have, but I've neglected to push things. So if you go commit here, and then you have to hit push and get cracking. I did not know that. So it was like 10 days worth of commits that have been just sitting on my client because I haven't been keeping up with it. Okay, so, oh yeah, we need to push up Volts Engine too, because we just changed a prefab in Volts Engine. I think it's in, actually, no, it might be in Volts Engine prefabs. Speaking of which, there's also an update to get cracking I need to install here later. Here we go. changes. There we go. And then you want to push, because it'll say right here it's local with that little computer icon, and then when you push, it'll bring the icon up next to the thing, so saying, okay, your local and your thing are both at this current commit. And yeah, getting used to various things here. Okay, so if we run now, it should now keep track of who's using it. And we actually neglected to do one thing real quick, if I can, whatever, I'm gonna let it run. What we neglected to do is we come over here and we can just do tile power generator. And Cole, the code hasn't finished compiling, so I can just go ahead and let that be as is. But this way, if we call host, our host would return this as our type, which is the beauty of generics. Toss it over and see what they're up on about. Oh, they're doing stuff. Palhammer and Direwolf are apparently coming up with a 1.11 pack. I would offer some mods, but oh well. Oh, I got 3 notifications. Okay. So I'm happy that somebody retweeted the CPW that I'm working on something cool, but CPW is more than likely to ignore me than anything else, especially after I got into a Twitter rant with him a couple months ago. Stupid thing is that Twitter rant was over just I was tired of hearing him whine about modders doing whatever they do. I'm like, dude, just stop whining, is what I should have just said. Instead I went with just chill, kind of, and went over the whole you should be better than this type of mentality. And unfortunately I came off as an asshole in the process. Which is unfortunate, as that was not my objective. Actually, I really didn't have an objective going in there. Didn't have a plan either, which is a reason it ended so badly. But I think I got my point across that just like listening to CPW and Lex whine every couple weeks that modders are asking them to do more and more work is just retarded. If they're gonna whine, just, I mean, I don't care if they actually do whine, but as a modder who depends on their work, it's annoying to have to listen to them complain about us, the modders. We keep them employed and they keep us employed. It's a symbiotic relationship, and if one party is being negative towards the other party is going to be negative back. And if you want there to be less of a problem, you kind of want to be nicer to each other. What did we break? Ah, we broke that, yeah. Yeah, I don't like it when people are negative towards each other either. It's kind of annoying. Okay, cool. Our GUI packets are running. So if we actually dump stuff in here, we'll actually see stuff go and do stuff. That would actually be kind of cool thing if people start adopting Minecraft JUnit as a system. Because I did design it for more than just myself to use. If I wanted to only use it myself, I would have just put it in Vault's engine. Anyways, we get our lava update here. We're going to have to, of course, trim this and make sure it fits on screen. That could be done really simply by just moving it over and removing those 2 spaces to give us a little bit of extra room. So if we come over here to our GUI, and we just do something like this, and then we need to also kind of, so we got 2 spaces, but I need to put some more stuff in there. We need to move these slots actually to be over here, because what you're going to have is you're going to have the slots here, and then you have like a fluid tank display here, so you can see the fluid in the tank. So let's kind of just fix our container real quick. Fortunately, I think I closed the package here. I wish I could pin these packages open. I wish I could change the color here. It's so cool if I could just make this like a blue icon or something, some kind of different color than this folder, because it's really hard to navigate down through here, especially considering my left eye doesn't work very well, and this is on the left side of my screen. Yeah. Let's see, container, there we go. So we're gonna want to move these over, and I want to say we just make them 16 real quick on the X coordinate. And we aren't going to see an update right away, but what we do if we update, there we go. So that's perfect actually. So now we just want to move this over here. And we want to move the generator name over while we're at it too. Okay, that would be the GUI class. And let's make this 25. Ah, I didn't predict it. I should have went with 35, which is what my original thought was. Yep, 35 is perfect. I was like, you know what, 35 can't be quite right. That's too much, because these slots are only 18 wide, and we're only 16 off of them. My brain didn't do the math properly. That makes it would have been 35. Actually, 36 would probably be slightly better. Because yeah, these are 16 from the edge, and then they're 18 wide. So if we do the math real quick, 16 plus 18, we get like 34 is where that edge is, and then if you do 2 more over, and then we're actually going to drop it down one so that top of that T lines up with the top of that slot. It's like one of those OCD moments. I think it's 2 pixels. Nope, it was 1 pixel. At least my OCD is not as bad as it used to be. It's one of those things where people that have OCD say, well, you can't like get out of it, and you totally can. It just takes a lot of persistence, like a stupid amount of persistence. Though I'm kind of lucky that I'm capable of pulling off that level of persistence. So for those of you that do have OCD and you're suffering of it, apologies. Yeah, that looks good. Theoretically, you can do an underline with this too, but I'm not quite sure how. But it would be nice to put an underline underneath that because it would look a lot better. We got that, and then we'll put like a fluid tank display here. Well, when we get to the fluid tank display, I'm probably going to redo this. I'm going to probably put this down here. It'll be just the volume below here, and then we'll put lava at the top. So it'll go, okay, fluid lava, and you'll have your tank, and then it'll tell you how much volume you have. To be honest, we won't even probably have to put the lava in there after a while, because it'll probably be just whatever fluid's in there is whatever's in there. Or we'll do a tooltip hover, so when you hover over top of it, it'll go, okay, hey, this is how much fluid you've got in there. That way you don't have to see the tank display all the time. And for some reason, the inventory name down here is broken. Let's take a look at that real quick. So that'd be assets, lang in.es, inventory. I don't see anything wrong with that. So let's take a look at our GUI and see what we screwed up. So tile, PowerGen GUI inventory. So let's copy this part and see if we just typed it wrong. No, it looks good. Ah, we're missing the .name at the end. That's the reason it's not working. There we go. There's our inventory there. That looks a lot nicer. So we've got our handling here. It tells us how much fluid's in there. It's not consuming the fluid, which is concerning, I guess. We might have to adjust some code here. Okay, so we got our stuff in. We go, okay, has fuel. Our has fuel check is down here, and yeah, we got to get rid of that supported fluid check. So we're just going to go with tank.getFluid equals. You know what? We actually don't need the null check here. We can just do this. Because null is not going to equal that, so it works. And there we go. It's consuming fuel. A little bit too quickly, if I'm not mistaken. So let's fix that. Let's go, okay, 1 millibucket a tick. Because it just went out of fuel like immediately, and you gotta imagine that I don't think this guy's mod pack has any way to fuel the generators quickly. Although we're probably gonna up this tank here. So let's say this stores 100, because I don't think he said how much he wanted in here. Okay, since this is empty, I'm gonna break it and just place it back down again. By the way, when it comes to placing these, I think they place in the back corner here. So if you aim at the back corner, there we go. It was originally the front corner here, but I had to reverse the models. Okay, we're not going to get an update on our volume until we restart, which we're going to go ahead and do because I need to add save and load code. So yeah, we're just coming down here. I'm going to type in, so it would be save. And we'll go over here and we'll just copy these two. So we'll do that. And we'll go super.save MBT, return MBT. Okay, so we want to save the tank pretty much. So I'm going to go, okay, if MBT.hasKey fluid tank, then we're going to go tank.read from MBT, MBT.getCompound tank, fluid tank. And then down here we want to go, okay, if tank.fluid or get fluid amount is greater than 0, because you don't want to save an empty tank. Then we would go MBT tag compound tag equals new MBT tag compound, and then we would go tank dot write to MBT tag, and then we go MBT dot set tag fluid tank. Make sure that this matches what's up here, and then tag. There we go. So that should save our stuff, and we don't really have much left to do. Next thing to do is just check to make sure that's working. Speaking of which, I also need to do real quick is I need to see if I can fix that model render for the generator. So this needs to be like, I think, -4. Hopefully that's correct though. So it doesn't seem to be having a huge effect, but that could be because this scale is ridiculous. When you scale things up, for some reason the translation halves, and I believe the offset halves with it. Or something. There's some rule set with it that I haven't quite learned yet because I'm not exactly good with when it comes to rendering. We don't need the container anymore. We will leave the GUI open in case we need it. And the next thing I need to go do, actually I need to leave that open. I need to go add power demand to his sentry gun. So be gun, sentry, here's the sentry here. I need to go find our ICBM sentries here. And the laser sentry, I think, is the only one that has power right now. Energy buffer size, energy cost per tick is what we want. And it doesn't really matter what we do the power on this sentry gun because of the fact that that generator just produces whatever. So we'll go, okay, you get, we'll say he gets like 3 ticks worth of power. 100 per tick, yeah, so that'll work. Because then it should get powered by this if we're playing our cards right. Go ahead and launch that up. Let me kill my email off here. Yeah, cool. Only had like 2 emails in there. People are like tweeting back and forth about possibly making a new Forgecraft server. I don't get invited to any of that stuff. As far as I'm concerned, I'm still banned for life, even though I doubt any of them even care anymore. Because the original reason I got banned was CalClavia, and CalClavia's been out of the picture for so long that people still probably remember him, but they probably don't hold a grudge anymore against him and the people who work with him. Since I don't work with him anymore, they probably don't care at all anymore. So it means I actually could get on there if I actually wanted to. But their server is more or less like a friends type server. So even though people like, oh, it's a collection of mod developers can go play on it. It's actually not how it kind of works. I mean, nobody's really fully explained it to me, but what I have been given by people who are on that server is it said that it's kind of just more or less people who hang out with each other. And the people have hang out with each other happen to all be high-level people in the community right at the moment. Which kind of makes sense. I mean, if you're really good at modding, you're going to become friends with people who are good at modding as well. Me, I don't socialize with a lot of those people, so that's one of the downsides. Occasionally, we'll talk to a couple of them. Like, every so often I'll have a conversation with Lex, but it's usually professional. So it'd be like, hey, there's this thing that I need help fixing with that's really complicated, and once I explain the problem and he stops calling me retarded, he'll help me fix it. Or I'll talk theoretics to him, like, hey, I've got this ideal to do this, and like I've talked to him about my JSON system a couple times. But that was like over 1.5 years ago. That one was actually a pretty pleasant conversation. I doubt he remembers it anymore, though. That's the thing, though, is like, because my name is so unknown, I can have a conversation legitimately with somebody, and then here a couple months they won't remember, but I'll remember the conversation. Like, I've had conversations with King Lemming in my TeamSpeak before, and they weren't necessarily good conversations because, unfortunately, I made myself look like an asshole. And he doesn't remember that. I do, though, and I feel bad about it. And of course, Reika still remembers that conversation too. That was rather unfortunate. I had got convinced by another person to kind of play this joke on Reika, where I was going to try to find where he lived in real life, and I kept that joke up way too long, and unfortunately, King Lemming had been in the channel when that happened, and I made a horrible impression in the process. Keep in mind, the impressions I've been giving him for a while haven't been good to start with, because I do interact with him, and my past interactions with him have not been pleasant, because of course he makes RF and I used to make UE, so we were rivals for a while. At least that was how it was on face value. Anyways, we should be able to stick lava in here. Okay, it is consuming. I'm going to do a save check real quick to make sure it's saved. Cool, it's saved. For some reason, we're not consuming lava anymore. Oh, there we go. Had a GUI stall. Cool, so we're consuming, and not at a horrible rate, because I mean, we have 100k buckets worth of fuel in here. And who knows what the bucket's going to be. The gas cans are not rendering correctly. That's hilarious. They're not supposed to render with those icons, but I don't think I ever updated the icon registry with it. So we'll have to go fix that at another date. Those are the food cans, by the way. There should be a lava one in here. We'll test that in a bit. What we want to test before this thing runs out of fuel is we want to test our sentry gun, which is going to be over here. I still have to get him a render for this. Yeah, because right here is his sentry gun. It's still not named. Oh, please tell me you're not broken. You're broken! God damn it. His render's broken, nothing else is though. How'd the render break? Probably the render's broken on his stuff because it hasn't been updated. Yeah, it hasn't been updated. This is actually a tile render. Sorta. I feel stupid I didn't go through and fix this. I actually need to go test his RPGs and stuff to make sure they still work as well. Right here it is, render type. I didn't come through and I didn't update this. You have to define the render type now on models. It's one of the downsides. I had to go fix something, and the solution right now is that you just go like, boom, it's three-dimensional. And here this would be like an item render. So you'd say like, hey, I render this as item. Although, by the way, this render type isn't going to really do anything. This is going to default to two-dimensional texture. Eventually, will be an item render. That should fix eventually. That means his gun is working. It's just it's not well working. Let's get his ammo real quick. So there's the ammo. I need to get him a texture for this as well. Oh, Knine. It broke. Is item valid? What did you null point on? Get ammo data. I should have null pointed. Okay, so get ammo data is never supposed to return null. Why am I not seeing? Why is this null? Huh? Confusion. I mean, this should never be null because whatever. I'm just gonna fix it over here real quick. It's weird that that crashed though, because we've been using this for quite a while without problems, and I suspect that there was a rollback in code by mistake at some point. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go, okay, if this doesn't equal null, and that'll fix it. Because we get item, we get the ammo type, and we just want the ammo type is what we want. So the ammo data apparently isn't being called back on that for some reason. And that's due to that clip. And we have to fix that. Still strange though, it's been working just fine up until this point. A clip should have a set ammo type. So let's let me go back to that real quick. Maybe we're just approaching the problem wrong. So we got item ammo. We got the ammo data. So this is this gets us, because what we want is a type real quick. Consume ammo is clip. Okay, we're gonna have to figure out a solution to this. One, we need to clean up this method too. It's a little bit hard to read. So do this real quick. Put that there. Do that. Return false. What we at recording time? Oh, we're almost done. Actually, you know what? I'll cut it here and we'll start the next video.